So, dollars. So, let's talk about virtual assessment again. For the last few weeks, we've been talking about problems. We've talked about the occasional solution. We've talked about different things that we can do. Today, I want to move the focus away from the problem because I think we've defined the problems pretty well. But I don't want to start thinking right away about solutions. The problem with thinking about a solution too fast is then you end up with the, quote, one true solution. We all know there are plenty of people out there who would happily sell us one of those, right? And we all know, if we've been around for any amount of time, that that one true perfect solution isn't going to work exactly the way that it's supposed to. And the more different our context is from the context that the person who developed it imagined, the harder it'll be to get it to be a workable solution. That doesn't mean it was a bad solution necessarily. It just means it's not the one for our situation. So rather than thinking about the solution, I want to think about what's a good process to use to come up with a solution that will work once you've identified the problem or problems that you're trying to solve. And then I found this picture. My process when I make these videos is that I think of a general topic and then I go to Creative Commons Search to search.creativecommons.org and I look for a picture of something. Today I was looking for a flock of geese and I found this one. And not only are they a great flock of geese, and not only is it taken in the tidal basin in DC, which is a place that I really, really like, but it really shows the way that goose behavior is. And it's fascinating because, you know, they're not terribly intelligent creatures. They don't have large brains. And yet they have this incredibly complicated system. And they're able to get from where they stay in the winter to where they stay in the summer and back. And they have this whole process of setting the pace and rotating leadership and all these things. And they synchronize their speed and their wing beats with each other. And we don't, I mean, scientists have some theories about how that works, but we can't do that. So there's some stuff that we can learn from geese. And there's some stuff that we can learn from wolves. Some of you guys may not like wolves, but I think they are the most fascinating, beautiful animals. Part of that is because I don't own any sheep or other things that, you know, the wolf might come along and remove one. But I just think they're beautiful animals. And the other thing that I admire about them is the social behavior. They do have sort of a defined leadership, right? There's an alpha for the pack. But then the way that they migrate and the way that the older and sicker wolves are where they are in the line and the way that the alpha protects the others is just the most fascinating thing. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from wolves. And I think that there may even be a process that we can take from the geese and the wolves and imagine how we might adapt that to find solutions for our problems. How would that work? Well, for one thing, everybody has an important role. Everybody in the pack, everybody in the flock. There's no such thing as a solitary goose or a solitary wolf unless it's like dying. And apparently with geese, even if the one goose is too sick or too injured to fly, the other geese, a couple other geese, will drop out and stay with it until it either recovers or dies, and then they'll continue their migration. So everybody has an important role. And that may be important for you to hear if you've been feeling expendable and as though nobody much valued you. There are different roles for different ages and stages and personalities. And that's important because as teachers, I mean, what we do in our first year and what we do the day before we retire isn't really that much different. But for geese and for wolves and for lots of other things, including maybe for us as we find solutions for our problems, there are different roles for different ages and stages and personalities and other ways that we're different. You don't have to do it all alone, and you can't. that solitary goose doesn't exist. The solitary wolf doesn't really exist either. And we don't have to be the lone hero trying to do it all, trying to work more hours than there are in a day, thinking we can get it all done. We don't have to do that. But together, that flock of geese, that pack of wolves, that group of teachers finding solutions, creating solutions together, can actually do things that seem to be impossible. And I think that's really important to hold on to. Not the way that your admin may say, oh, we're going to do the impossible, but something real, something true, something important. So I love this image too, even though I wouldn't want to be sitting at that table right now without, say, a mask on. And even then, I'd want to have pushed the chairs back so that we would be socially distanced and 6 feet from each other. But I love that table because it looks like the kind of table where you could get a group of 5 or 6 people around it, and you could really do some deep work together, and you could really make something important, something that would work, something that you would know it would work because you made it. You were involved in its creation. And so I started wondering, how do we take that image, or maybe something even better? How do we take that and recreate it, but not just like recreate it exactly the way it is, but enhance it. Use the tools that we've kind of learned how to use, and maybe some that we haven't even discovered yet, and make it right for now. That doesn't have to mean right forever, right? But right for now. So, I'm going to leave you guys with that thought. What would it look like if we could bring a group of people together and create solutions together and bring all of our different expertise together, bring it around that virtual table, and solve a problem that seems right now like it's unsolvable? What do you guys think? Does that sound like a thing you want to do? Think it over and let me know, because remember, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be that hard, and we definitely don't have to do all the work alone. So until we see each other again, walete sodales.